it's not that I don't mind being weak with you, right? But I'm almost at a point like I'm emotionally stunted. We work high stress jobs. It's like it's normal for me coming home, and it's like I'm still trying to process that or learn like how to be
All right,
emotional.
man. It's always cool to have somebody from back on the block, as they say, from the Marine Corps. That's been the theme recently with seems like this season, especially because we're coming up on the event, which it's one of the things that I'm looking forward to, and something we'll have every year, hopefully, for the guys. And so it's good to have another Marine on, and also now a police officer, Winston Scott. Welcome to the show, man.
No, I appreciate it, man, and I'm hoping you're doing well as well. It's good to see you.
Yeah, man. It's you're out in Tennessee now. So how's life down there? Since it's how long have you been there?
About 3 years. I moved back here in 22. My right in the middle, so probably 20, 30 minutes outside Nashville. So honestly, I love it. The weather, the people, the food, the economy is not that bad. So I'm loving it down here, man. I'm loving it.
You think you're gonna stay?
You know what? That's actually funny because I got married back in October.
Congratulations, man. Yeah,
I appreciate it. Life's moving fast right now. This last year's been
I
crazy.
see that. Yeah,
But what's it call it? We're not too sure yet, just because it's just us. So it's just me and her. She's a Tennessee native. So we don't know if we want to move back up north to Illinois to try to help with the baby, or do we just
right,
wing it and keep it down south.
right.
But I don't know. She wants to move up north. I'm not a fan of those harsh winters. The taxes, man. So we'll see what life brings us the next year or so.
So it sounds like there's a maybe in that. If you're gonna, depends. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, just because I mean, the only thing that's been rough too is that a lot of opportunities are coming up down here, right? Where it's like, you know, I think we can wing it down here, right? But yeah, like I said, it's just me and her, and she's been sick a little
Right,
bit. So at the same time, we want to I want to stay down here. Basically, I want to stay down here. There's a lot of more moving parts, a lot more opportunities. Because we go back up north and we apply for jobs, move in, all that money
right,
saved is going down the drain to basically just get up and move.
right. Yeah, and there's a lot that goes into moving. It's not just essentially you're taking your lives with you, and going wherever it is that you guys want to go, and that takes logistics, that takes a lot of money, thought, process. You also have to look and see if jobs are obviously with policing. You'll probably find a job anywhere you go. I mean, I haven't heard of yet any police force that is like not hiring, or I mean, maybe you can correct me, but it sounds like they're mostly open spots wherever you might want to go, but there's
Yeah, but if I go
processing.
up north, they may have to like retest me and all that stuff, and I don't want to run, man. I'm tired of
Oh,
running. You know what I mean?
yeah. No, there's a
Remember the PFP days?
oh god, yeah. No,
So
okay.
kind of like that.
I still try to run the PFT, the physical fitness test. I try to stay current. And I just want to know, can I still do it? Do you still do that?
No, I got about 40 yards in me before I give up. No,
Yeah.
maybe 6, 7 pull-ups at this point. Nah, man, I'm not. I'm getting old, man. I'm getting old.
No, fair enough, man. And it's funny. I always forget that we're around the same age because you got into the Marine Corps later, and that's one of the things I forget. Are you 30?
Yep. 30
Yeah,
years,
man.
baby.
That's crazy. I'm a year younger than you, and I always forget that because like I think that obviously you joined after me, so I look at more so career Marine Corps career wise, and I'm like, yeah, all these guys coming in after me are younger than me, but no, you are a year older than me.
Yeah, you went in what? And 21 years old.
No, I was 19 when I went.
Okay, I was 20 or 21. Because you were in the unit before I was.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think I was either 21 or 22. But I got what's it called? I was like the third or fourth oldest in the platoon. Man, it was weird.
Yeah, and but like you forget stuff like that, especially because everybody looks at rank and time, the time you've been in, so you just don't even ask about age. So it's just a little thing that every time it comes up, I'm like, that's right. Like you are technically older than me, but I mean, everybody walks in, everybody gets in at different times. I feel like I've seen like 18, my platoon we had like 9. Somebody was like 28, something like that. So it's just different timelines.
I remember when 28 was old.
Yeah, yeah. Now I'm 29. I'm like, hey, man, I don't think I could have. I don't think I could have went it. My back wouldn't have lasted, through those hikes.
Oh, dude, my left knee is already aching. I'm like, there's no way, man.
No
No
way,
way.
man. But anyway, I want to ask you about. There's a lot that we need to catch up on. Well, first, since this is our first interview on here, at all since we've had you, like that's one of the things that I've been trying to do is have you on for a while, but life has taken you and me in all over the place, man. And so with you going in the police force now, being a dad, there's a lot of stuff that popped up for you. But before all that, right? What made you? Let's talk about us, our connection in the Marine Corps. What made you want to be a Marine?
Um, let's see. So, like I said, 21, 22 years old. I didn't have a lot going on. I was kind of burnt out from college, working not dead end jobs, but nothing fulfilling, right? And I still
Right.
remember, I wanted something. I thought like maybe military would be the choice. So I remember, I still remember, I went to the Schomburg office first. I talked to them, right? Barely can do 2 pull-ups. The recruiter's actually really was really cool though. He's like, you're a little older, but if you want to do it, we can work with you. What I did one of the workouts or meets or whatever way they called it. I got smoked, dude. I got smoked. It was middle of the winter. My asthma flared up. I couldn't make it to the warm ups. That's how bad it was.
Mm,
So I thought, figured maybe the military wasn't for me. A couple months later, this is somewhere in the wintertime, probably going into spring, and I was working at Texas Roadhouse, and I met one of the recruiter that recruited me. I'm
right.
like, maybe it's a sign. You know what I mean? He
Hmm.
worked with me. He said like, you know what, if you can, PT on your own and get yourself kind of in shape, we'll help you out. We'll put you in the depth, all that good business.
Yeah.
But I'm like, okay, he's willing to work with me. I felt a little bit more motivated, and then I figured, you know what, maybe this is the right choice. Let me try and do it. All right.
And so then, it was just a matter of like, what, like you're looking for direction. Is that what it comes down to?
Yeah, a purpose, man. Because I mean, like every
Yeah.
young man is looking for a purpose. They want to do something. You want to feel needed. You want to do something cool as well.
Be bigger than
And so
yourself, right?
exactly. So it's like, okay, the Marines. Like if I was in the military, I was like, let me do they call it the hardest one. So and it beat my ass. But I wanted a challenge, especially
You
at that
talked
young age.
Yeah, you talked about the being out of college. That was kind of like my reason for getting in was well, not necessarily the reason, but the reason that pushed me. Say, yeah, I want to do it was the uh I tried the college thing, man. My sister was really big on that. She really pushed going to school, and because she was a major in like politics, right? So she eventually went into that, and it's great. College is great for that stuff because it's your resume, like the qualification, that piece of paper really matters for those jobs. And for myself, I mean, I my interests were art, man. Like, I liked animation, I liked graphic design, all that stuff, and videography, of course. It's just why I'm doing this. And it was just it didn't make a lot of sense, but I wanted to kind of like calm or like quiet that. Like, all right, I'm gonna try it, and at least if I don't like it, I can say I went and I gave it a try, and whether it wasn't for me or it was, we'll find out, and I can at least say I gave it a try, whatever you suggested, and so now I'm gonna do my thing. And when I went to community college, I knew the first semester, man, I didn't want to do that. It was just for me, it felt like first of all, I hated school. To this day, I don't like it. I'm not good at it. It for me, I don't learn the way that is taught in school, which like for me, I like being hands on, right? So
Mm.
that stuff was the way that it was taught in school. Just I'm not a good test taker, so all that stuff determines whether or not you pass the class, and I can't really I don't want to do any of that. So I knew the first semester I'm not going to do it, and then I went to the recruiter and got into the delayed entry program, and it took me a while to get college credits because I was already in. Recruiter was like, "Hey, why don't you get your college credits?" and at least go and contract PFC. And so I did that, and so I was able to get at least those credits and then go into the Marine Corps, right? But I want to ask about uh, since you mentioned purpose. What is it like for you? What was your childhood like? Was it chaotic? Was it a mix of a bunch of different things? What walk me through that?
I mean, not really. It was kind of the simple childhood that most people have.
Mm,
Grew up, didn't have a dad, just me and my mom. My mom was she was a teen mom, so it was mostly honestly like from when I do remember the past, it was just me and her. It was just always her. Um, and she did her she did her best. You know what I mean? Like it got to a point where I didn't realize that I needed a second parent. That's how much love she gave me. Um, but I mean, it was just simple. You know what I mean? Nothing really crazy. We had a couple crazy relationships, but nothing that would like really merit. Hey, this was a little weird. You know what I mean?
mm. It was normal then for you to have like you don't even think about it. Like, oh, where's my dad, right?
Yeah, and I think that unfortunately, I think majority of us like don't really have a dad. You know what I mean? Where's my
Mm-hmm.
dad? Um, but
Yeah.
uh, but you know what I mean? I think like that's such a norm now. That wasn't a big issue. Um, and we had there was a few major relationships my mom had that they're great at first, and then they went downhill. Um, so there's a reason why as a cop now I take a lot of interest in more the DV stuff. You know what I mean? Because I did see
Yeah.
some of that as a kid. So um, but my mom was she's a very strong, amazing person. So um, honestly, most of the characteristics I think that I have now just kind of came from that.
What you mentioned like some things that your mom had to deal with, right? That you watched as a kid. You kind of have a front row seat to all that stuff. But you don't really maybe you don't understand as a kid the whys. You just know what's happening. Um, what do you think? What was your mom's biggest challenge?
Um, it's hard to say. Probably just having a support structure. You know what I mean? Like you gotta
Mm,
realize, especially in certain key points in life, you realize not like yeah, like we can kind of say like I want to do everything by myself, but you can't. You really can't. So I know that the beginning years are rough. Obviously, I don't remember that, but it was
mm,
more so when I was my teenage years, or because like I can
okay.
actually watch myself. Um, but again, she just normally just worked, and it took me a while to realize, like, what was she working towards? Because I remember, my mom took out my cousin for a little bit back in when we were still in Chicago, and it was mostly just me and him. Yeah, I'd go to school, come back, my cousin would do the same. I remember my mom was just gone for the entire day, and it wasn't until I was a little bit older I realized she was working her day job and then working a second job at night. So she was pulling in probably 80 to 100 hours a week. You know what I mean? So um, that was she was just a workhorse, man. Just a
Where did
workhorse.
you say you were living? Were you with your? Were you guys? Did you have your own place, or were you living with family?
No, no, no. So we bounced around, man. We bounced around, but towards senior year of my high school. So we lived the longest place we stayed at was in Chicago, off of between Addison and Belmont.
Mm.
So we stayed there for about 3 to 4, not 6 years, no, like 3-ish, 4 years, give or take. I can't remember now. Um, but so it was up there. So we moved in with so my mom and me and a roommate. Roommate ended up being a little crazy, so roommate left, and we just maintained that home. And then then my mom met my brother's dad, and so on and so forth.
How
Um,
many siblings do you have?
just the one, man.
Just the one?
Yeah, I have
What?
a 10-year-old brother.
What?
A 10-year-old brother. Yeah, people
Wow,
think he's my kid.
that's crazy. So he's 10 now.
Yeah, about to be 11.
Wow, it's funny. That's you're 30 now, so that's actually like a 20. So a 20. You were 20 then when he was born.
Yep.
Wow. I when my sister was born, I was almost 10. I always just round up. I was 9 and some months when she was born, and that 10-year age gap to me seems big, but 20 years, that's a pretty big age gap. How involved are you with your little brother?
The early years I was involved, and then by the time he was 2, that's how I went and joined the military. Came back, and helped just babysit him, man. Just
Yeah,
wash him, change diapers. I was heavily involved. I was heavily involved because at the time my mom and his dad they split up and they were going through some issues. So I would
right,
help watch him and at least do my part. Towards the later years, it was a little harder because I was trying to handle my own stuff. And then now that he's hitting his preteen years, obviously I'm down in Tennessee. So
right,
I wish I do miss being more involved. Um, but I mean, that's why I want to move back to Chicago.
right.
So I can be with them. But at the same time, I also like being in Tennessee.
Yeah, well, you have your own life, man. It's difficult because I mean, once you hit past your 20s, your early 20s, there's kind of like some unspoken pressure and spoken pressure to figure your life out. Like by this age you want to get this, by this age you want to have that, and I don't really like that, to be honest, because it's everybody develops at different times, gains what is needed, experience to get them where they need to be. It's also unique that saying by a certain age you have to have something is a bit cruel because uh, everybody had different circumstances. You mentioned that's one of the things you and I have in common is I grew up, well, at least as a kid. My mom was single after the divorce between my parents, and so I moved around too. I moved around between the U.S. and Mexico, and my mom was single for a while, and my stepdad came in at some point, but it was really the back and forth, moving places, all that stuff. I didn't realize that it really did impact me until I got older and I got to kind of experience like moving out for me is chaotic. I hate it. It's like brings up a lot of old stuff for me. Is like where am I going now type thing. And even though I know logically where I'm going, there's like a lot of nerves of, oh, what if this, this gets messed up? And unfortunately, I've had rough experiences moving too. They've been after, moving out of my parents' home and after, a relationship breakup. And so there's a lot of like negativity that has been around moving. And that's how it affected me. Right. But for you, um, you mentioned like moving around quite a bit. Did that stuff ever bother you?
Oh man, I love it. It was like
You like the moving?
yeah, it's something new. I was
Yeah.
able to just show up somewhere, new school, new house. It was always like something fun. You know. Um, but then I guess the downside of it is that I don't like staying somewhere too long. You know what I mean?
Oh, I gotcha.
So like we've been so we got this we're renting a house, but we got this place back in last January, and our lease is coming up, and I'm like, man, like I like to move somewhere else, but um it's just us and the baby, so probably not the smartest thing is just to stay here for a year. Because
Yeah.
our last move was terrible because she was probably she was like 7 months pregnant. We had to move during a winter storm, man. You know,
What?
So yeah, between the winter storm or the snowfall, her being pregnant, it was dude. I damn near threw on my back. You know what I mean? Yeah, yeah. It was
Dude.
yeah, it was awful. Dude. I wanted to cry, dude. That's how bad it was. I was like, this is. And then she's like trying to waddle with like a chair, and I'm like, give me that, and I'll take it. And then we had to move to apartments. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
we had to grab her apartment and my apartment, and then it was a mess, man. It was a mess. It got to
That,
the
that
point where
yeah, that's the thing. Like, so you don't like moving or you don't like staying at a place too long. Do you think like you just get bored with it, or it's just more of a thing of like I don't know, do you feel like staying too long is gonna like what's the thing with staying?
I mean, nothing really. It's just one of those things where like I just like I like new stuff or new.
Right.
look at new things. Until I find like, oh, this is for sure the place I want to stay at. But that's not. We're also trying to think too, like, okay, like, do we want to look into buying a house? So, you know, because that's commitment.
Right.
Um, so and we did end up trying to buy a house. It kind of fell through, but but I mean, like I said, man, I don't mind moving. I also don't mind staying. It just has to be, the right conditions.
Fair.
Like with here, it's not a bad spot, but we're renting. You
Right.
know, and the
Yeah,
damn
and
heat don't my car.
renting is increasingly becoming more difficult. That's one of the reasons why I'm looking at. I'm actually in the process of buying a house now, and it's one of the reasons why I just decided, like, I don't know if it's viable to keep renting places, because you can move once it gets too expensive, but then it kind of slowly. I realized it slowly was pushing me into like more of like more dangerous areas, because you want to go to where a certain amount of money
Cheaper.
you want to spend, right? And so you a budget, and so to stay within that budget, now the apartments where you were are more expensive, so you have to move somewhere where they're less expensive, and normally that's in more dangerous areas, and it slowly moves you that way. At least that's what I noticed, and I was like, oh yeah, I don't want to do that too long. And that's what pushed me. It made more sense really to have a mortgage that's going to stay the same, hopefully, for a lot more years than renting, because renting, it's what, every year they bump up your rent.
Yeah, give or take. You still in Illinois, right?
Yeah, I'm still in Illinois. Yeah.
Yeah, buying a house in Illinois. I don't know, man. The property taxes alone is just they're a
Yeah, no,
lot.
the property taxes will set anybody back, and that's one thing that really sucks about Illinois is the property taxes are so high. So yeah, that's something that to keep in mind too. But let's say all that set all that aside. I have a friend that is also a Marine and has disability, and so that really comes in handy for when we apply for a VA. For the VA loan, because they look at that, and if you're 70%, I believe 70% or higher, you don't pay property taxes. At least that's what they say. So
Dude, I'm about to rejoin and jump out of a Humvee, dude. Because
just, just
the
take a
VA ratings are nice.
take a trip and fall. That's what McGee did anyway, right?
That's yeah. Right. There was this nerd I used to work with. I don't know how he got like a 93% rating, but he was claiming like, oh, like acne scars and sleep apnea or sleep or insomnia. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I was like, I mean, you do you, man, but I don't know. It was just funny. He always talked about it. So
yeah, yeah. No, it's a funny thing about how that stuff happens. But anyway, that'll be their business. Um, I do want to ask you about your dad. What you mentioned that he wasn't in your life. Did you ever talk to him?
yeah. The first time I met him, I was uh, 9, 10, give it around that age.
Yeah.
So we moved to Florida. That's where he was at, and when my mom worked, he wasn't watching me, so I did get a little bit of a relationship. What and it wasn't great, all right? Because like
Mhm.
I'm it was just me and my mom, and then this dude pops up who kind of looks like me.
Yeah.
Now kind of barking at me for certain stuff, and at first it was great because you meet your dad, um, but it just wasn't kind of what I was kind of hyping up to be, right? And then so we stayed there for I think a year or two, and we moved back to Illinois, and then we just kind of lost
Right.
contact again. I didn't see him
Right.
again until high school, give or take. I think my sophomore year. Yeah, it's like my sophomore or junior year, one of those two. Some for Thanksgiving, um, which is it's cool. His family's fine, but I always get annoyed because I'd see them be like, oh, we miss you, and I'm like, you got a phone, we all got Facebook, and
Right.
say hi or whatever it is, or $75, it'd be nice. But we after that we lost touch again. I saw him again one more when I was 20. I'm 30 now. It's probably 27. I saw him once. He came to Nashville,
Mhm.
which was oddly enough Father's Day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's like a day or the day before or the day on, and then and that was it. Uh, not a great relationship. It was more disappointing than, I mean, like I said, right? Like with most what most boys deal with nowadays. You got dad that's that wants to be cool, but it's just it's just not working out.
What disappointed you?
Um, Biggest thing was high school graduation. He was texting me saying that, hey, like I'm on my way, but never showed up. So it was weird.
Mhm.
Like to me, that stuff is weird. You know what I mean? Like either say, hey, I'm not showing up, and that's fine. You Um, there one time early years of college, he said that he would send me a laptop. Never, he sent me like a tracking number, but it was never a real thing. Which I mean, like again, like why
Yeah.
tell me these things? You know what I mean? That's weird. And then the kind of last straw for me really was so obviously I didn't tell him I was having a kid.
Yeah.
Like the day after he was born, I'm like, hey, I got one. I show him my phone, send him a text
Yeah.
message.
Yeah.
All right, I got one of these things now.
Yeah.
And then he wanted to meet him, and I was kind of, I only told you because we're blood. All right. And then so I remember he texted me probably like last month saying, hey, you know what, what's your address? I'd like to send him something. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I can do that. And that was over a month, 2 months ago. So I'm like, don't do that. You can do that with me, but don't do it with my kid. You know what I mean? So after that, I'm kind of just more just kind of cutting off at this point.
Your dad set an expectation and never met it. That's what it sounds like. Like he was going
Yeah,
to do something and he didn't do it.
yeah. It was annoying too because I mean, like, obviously I didn't get a chance to get that fatherly experience with him, right? It
Yeah.
was one of those things where I had friends on my dad because he was like, like, I love you, I want to be part of your life. I'm like, we can be friends. You know what I mean? Like we can be friends, we can text, hang out if we come up here. But we're past the father son relationship. Right?
Hmm.
So I had to figure that part of my own. So I can give you the opportunity to be a grandfather. We can try that. I wouldn't mind it. But the fact that like you're dropping the ball on that too, like we're not gonna do that the second time around.
How
So
did he? How did that absence affect you now as a dad? What is it that? What did it change in you as now in that position?
um as a son, I can forgive him, right? But as a father, I could never understand it. You
Mm.
know. So that's kind of like one of the things that kind of rings in my head. Because um, I'll come home, I'll see this little sucker, this little best and that thing, and I'm like, that's kind of cool. You know what I mean? Like, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm stressful or I'm stressed out. It's a lot of work, but like, you see him sleeping and you're like, oh, this is what it's worth it. This is what it's about. I could never not imagine being in his life. You know what I mean? That's
There's a there's I've heard this around, and maybe you can speak to it. I can't myself. I've never experienced having a kid, so I've heard that when because you only get to experience them as a kid for most, like people say you're only going to experience them as a kid for very small amount of their lifetime that you know them. So you're only going to know them as a kid for a very short amount of time. You're going to know them more as an adult than you will as a kid. And it's something that I never really thought about, me being a kid, right? Like that. Oh, that's true. I've spent more time being an adult than I have as a kid now. And so as a parent, you're really only going to know them that little for a blink of an eye, right? Have you thought about that?
um yes, yes and no because I mean, dude, I'm going like on a weekly basis. You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
very short sighted right now just because of everything that's going on. Um, but you hear the things where it's like, oh, like the baby stages last for so long, and then at some point in life, or this is the last time I gotta pick him up, and you hear that constantly, right? As a
Yeah.
reminder. So, that's why like like for example, like he's supposed to sleep in the bassinet, but there's times like I'll just hold him while he's sleeping. You know what I mean? Or I try I do are there are certain days where I try to savor just a little bit longer. because eventually, yeah, it's true. Eventually, I mean, he's already 6 months,
Yeah.
and I'm not
Wow.
gonna lie, it feels like a week or two I've been away from paternal leave. Like
Yeah.
it has gone by a little fast. So
What was your experience like for paternal leave? How long is that?
I took 3 weeks. I took 3 weeks. Man, I thought it was gonna be a breeze, dude. I thought it was gonna be easy. It's not. It sucked. It was awful. I was so tired. Wake up every 2 hours to feed this thing, dude. It was you just like because I never. I mean, like, obviously my first kid, right? And normally you get freaked out by your first one.
Yeah.
So and like I love him to death, but it wasn't a planned thing. So
Yeah.
trying to kind of get everything in motion so we can have a stable life. We had to do that within like 9 months to a year.
Right.
So
It's there's a lot of stuff that was put on your plate all of a sudden.
yeah, man. But that's why you wear protection.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. There's when it comes to that stuff, uh, with unexpected things like didn't expect a kid, or I don't know, you end up married to somebody that you later realize, yeah, maybe this wasn't a good idea. That stuff, like, I don't know, some of those things are there to teach you something. That's how I see it. Maybe you see it differently, but for me, it's like it was going to happen one way or another because I had to learn something. There was an experience that I needed to have for me to maybe see a different perspective, see things from a new lens. Because, like you mentioned, you didn't have your dad, right? And so
Mhm.
maybe that affects you, and you're like, I don't know if I want to have a kid, right? Because you're like, yeah, my childhood was rough, and I didn't have my stuff together, and how am I going to have a kid? And I still don't feel like I have my stuff together, and stuff like that. I just feel like I don't know. I think it's there to teach you something. It's there to give you perspective that you probably otherwise wouldn't choose on your own. Does that make any sense? Is that anything you resonate with that?
No, no, it definitely does because I mean, no matter what, at the end of your life, there was a set path, right? Regardless if it was a man-made path or a God-willed path.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously we don't see it, but there is roads we're supposed to take. Um, and with this one, it's been hard, but it's also been a blessing because I mean it is true. Like I was approaching 30, uh, and it's one of those things where like I guess I struggle with it. Do I want a family? Do I not want a family?
Yeah.
And obviously you want to do have that family with the right person. You
Yeah.
know, I'm lucky enough where she at least she's not crazy. She's actually been an amazing partner. So I kind of lucked out with that.
What has that been like? Your relation. Can I ask about your relationship?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So we both had just left bad relationships basically.
Hmm.
Um, and we both oddly enough we actually worked at the same place. She's a cop too.
Yeah.
So and here's the thing. So we've known each other for 2+ years. Never really talked. Didn't even really like each other. Like
Mm.
we talk about it now. We're like, yeah, like I thought she was, stuck up, and she thought I was macho or whatever it was. And we had a mutual friend where we started working out, and she ended up coming to the gym with us. And she'll tell her like yeah, I didn't really want to be around you. But as we started hanging out with mutual friends, we figured out that we're both, we're both okay people, right? And eventually we all went out one night. We were talking. We started becoming friends.
Right.
And we were both like, well, how do we do this? Right? Like, how do we? It was one of those things where like, let's not date just yet, but we'll be like exclusive. See how this molds. And
Hmm.
eventually we decided, yeah, we will be a relationship. Um, but again, we had to be guarded because like with work, us both being cops. Um, my job had that large scandal, so we wanted to be careful. And then uh 2 months later, she was pregnant.
I well that's actually a lot of stuff to because you were dealing with a new relationship and then you got thrown into almost I don't want to say instantly, but pretty soon after getting to know each other, having to now plan for a child, and that's a pretty heavy task list to suddenly get like, oh, we just met, we're getting to know each other, and now I have to plan for a kid. What is how has what toll has that taken on you guys, and how have you dealt with? How did you deal with it,
Yeah, it
managing all
feels
that
like
stuff?
felt like an arranged marriage. You know what I mean? Like yeah, get all the stuff together quick. But I mean, like we honestly, I'm not gonna lie, like we were hooking and jabbing, man. Because we started talking. Let's see. So when did we find out? We found out give or take July. So within 2 3 months of dating, we found out we're like okay, like let's get everything figured out. All right. So
Mhm.
I was doing something with my apartment. Dude, my apartment had roaches. I was trying to get out of the lease. I had to get a lawyer. Fun fact: my lawyer ended up getting arrested. Um,
Oh, jeez.
that yeah, it's crazy, man. For some crazy shit too. I think
You weren't joking.
he like pistol whipped somebody.
Wow.
And then obviously we had to deal with her place. I had a dog, she had a cat. And then we had to figure out where to move to. Oh no, sorry, I lied. We were gonna buy a house, so use the VA loan. I messed up though because there's in Tennessee, dude, it's blowing up, right? Like all these new developments. Like I'm talking like there's a new one being built, like not even across the street. It's just constant new developments. So like, okay, well, let's get a new build, so we don't have to worry about issues with the house for at least another
Right.
5 10 years. And it was one of those homes where you can like customize certain things. We talked to the lender, we talked to the not the builder, but the people who own the building stuff or whatever it was.
Right.
And it seemed honestly it seemed manageable, but we never really got like, hey, what's our monthly payment going to be? So they obviously they wait until we got all our stuff, like all of our what's your credit score, what's your assets, all that fun stuff.
Right.
Um, so we were in that process. Let's see, we started that process in August. It was we were supposed to move in like probably like around just before Christmas, like December like 23rd or something like that, like just before Christmas.
Yeah.
It was beginning December. It was beginning December, or what's the month before December? November,
Yep.
late November. Where they were like, I'm not the greatest, man. Where we get the email saying, okay, hey, this is everything. We did all the math. This is gonna be a monthly payment. Monthly payment is gonna be like over like 3 grand or something like that. All right. Now, was it
That's
doable?
a lot.
Sure, but like we were not expecting that, and it took all those months to figure that out, and now we're at the stretch. So we're like we can't get this house. Which sucked
That's
too because
weird. I'm sorry, that's weird because they're supposed to give you like an estimate of what you would be paying before you make that commitment. You didn't get that?
well, I mean, yeah, they gave us the estimate, but the house supposed to be ready in the next 2 3 weeks. So here's your estimate. But I'm like, man, that's way over than I thought it was. You know what I mean? And then I got a little annoyed at the realtor because he's like, well, if it was a new build, what do you expect? I'm like, oh yeah, but like on the websites
But
and everything, it says it's gonna be between this amount. You know what I mean? So it's like, help us. Yeah, that's my thing too. Is that like help us? Like obviously we're first time home buyers. You're the realtor who's got hired by the VA. Man, if you thought it was a bad idea, then say something. You were
th-
even like, he was even like, yeah, this is gonna be a good thing, yada yada.
what did it say on did you get an estimate though directly from the VA? Because the VA is supposed to give you an estimate.
No, we got the estimate from the builder.
Yeah, no, that's not at least not how we had. So like the process that I've been following is you get to the house. Let's say you want to bid on a certain house. There's an estimate on the website that's its own estimate, and not I don't really rely too much on that one. But then there's an estimate that comes after. At least so it was for me. There's an estimate that when you put in the bid and the bid gets accepted and the paperwork starts, there's an estimate for how much you'll be paying with and then obviously without property taxes, not including property taxes. And so unless they didn't mention it, maybe it was the property taxes then that they weren't accounting for, because they normally don't at first, but they tell you like, oh, you can expect this and this much. None of that happened for you.
Dude, my memory is terrible. Dude, I'm not gonna look. Here's the sad part is like I don't remember any. I really
Okay,
don't.
fair enough.
I just remember getting that estimate, and it might have been from the VA, but regardless of where it came from, I just
Regardless,
remember
it wasn't what it said.
it was over 3 grand. I was like,
Yeah.
dude, I'm not paying 3 grand. And it sucked too because like we were like because you can track the process of it being built, and when once they like broke the land to put the damn thing there, I actually proposed to her there.
Mm.
Being like, oh yeah, this is gonna be like our life and everything, and it's like, oh, sorry
You
for the
wanted
shattered dream.
that dream
Yeah,
life.
yeah, it was yeah, it sucked because like we had the pictures and it's like all you see is like rocks and shit. You know what I mean? It's just and you'd be like, wow, that's a weird place to propose. Like, oh, because that was gonna be
Yeah.
the house. And then, it sucks. And I know I think it affected her more than anything else because we were gonna get a house. She picked out all the stuff. You know what I
Right.
mean? Um, and then from there we're like, okay, well now we're on a clock to like find a place. And because we
Right.
tried buying a house and we just dumped 8 grand that we were not getting back,
Yeah.
we were really like we were cutting it close because we were trying to apply
Yeah.
for apartments, couldn't get it because our credit got shot down.
Right.
There was one place we for sure thought was a shoe in, but it was like $1,900, and they said we got denied. We're like, how? It wasn't until I found this place by blessing or by luck, one of those two. Where it was decently
Probably
priced.
both.
Yeah, probably both. The lady was cool. It wasn't a scam. It was just all scams nowadays. Uh, so we got in with this place, right? And she likes it, which is the most important thing. But that's why that's why I'm trying to bust my ass now to like save up this money so I can buy her a nice house, well, the one she wanted.
Yeah. That's the dream anyway. Um, let me ask you then about the policing. What made you want to be a police officer?
Oh man, every Marine ends up being a cop, man. You don't see that,
I do
dude. Every
notice that
time I see
trend.
that,
Yeah.
every time I look
Yeah.
on Facebook, oh my, he's a cop. But it was so before I moved before I moved out here, Aurora,
Yep.
the city of Aurora. So
Yep.
I tried to apply with them, but I couldn't do the damn sit and reach test because I got what you do though. I'm talking
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
that
Yeah. No.
thing.
No. I know. Yeah. I know that. But why?
Oh,
What is
that's
that
part of
like?
the power test. So it's like
Okay.
you do the run, the one max push or not push one max bench press. There's I think crunches, maybe push-ups, I don't remember. But the damn sit I can do everything but the damn sit and reach test. I'm like, brother, I'm not built for flexibility, man. I'm like a board. I
Yeah.
couldn't do it. So I was like, all right, it's fine, I can try again later. Um but because like there's a lot of influence. You had Woods, who was CPD. Um and something about it was just something about that life. But again, I don't think I was ready just yet. So I worked mostly in the restaurant business. Came out here, still did the same thing, and then I'm like, you know what? I wanted to be a cop. So let me try again, right? Because I mean, like
Yep.
it was a culmination of everything, right? Because I ain't the smartest, right? But I can use my body. I use my body for work. As I've always said, I use my body for work. Not like that. Now I'm thinking it sounds weird. Um,
I didn't think about that till you said it.
yeah, I just said it. I'm like, oh, that's probably wrong choice of words. But
No.
but I can like my favorite superhero is Batman. You know what I mean? I was like, something about that lifestyle, that really appeased me. Kind of like the Marine Corps, right? Like you
Yeah.
have it entices certain challenges. So I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
well, like I'm in a better spot. I'm mentally and physically, I'm in a better spot. So let me
Yeah.
let me let me try this again and see. Kind of like same thing with the Marine recruiter the second time around. Let me try the second
Right.
time around, see how it goes. Applied for Metro Nashville, applied for a city called Franklin, and then there's a town in Middle Tennessee. It's kind of small, but not small. It's about 50,000 people now. Apply with them. right? And just see how it went. Got
Right.
a call a few months later, got the job, and I was ecstatic, man. I was ecstatic because, like, because like it was a time for like, not saying what I wasn't doing was like a big boy job, but like this is like, hey, you get paid bi-weekly, you get health insurance. It was like a step
Right.
up. Like, so, um, and then yeah, I just figured it was time for just a new challenge.
You mentioned that the sit and reach thing was what was stopping you. So is this you going to the police academy and then them literally sending you back for that?
No, no, no. So up in Aurora, because so it's weird because in Illinois they use the power testing to streamline the physical fitness test for everybody, and before you have to have that card while you apply.
Okay.
So when I couldn't do the sit and reach test, I couldn't get that card, so I couldn't apply. If that makes
So
sense.
so you don't do that in the police academy?
No, I mean the police academy. It's just a police academy. At that point, you're in. You know what I mean? It's like boot camp, but watered
Right.
down. Yeah.
Uh, I'm just I guess I don't really know the process. When let's start from the beginning. Let's say you want to be a police officer, and is the first thing you do uh go like apply to a police academy, or how do you start the journey?
So, I know, like, I obviously I don't know how it is in Illinois, but out here, I'm pretty sure it's similar. So obviously, you first apply online. You apply online. They'll ask for certain things. Once they read it over, I'll say, okay. The next process is it can go either or. It's the physical test and a written test. I know for sure that's how it is up in Illinois. Where you do there is a written test, and then there's the power test or the fitness test. Out here it's kind of the same thing. You do a written test and then you do whatever the department. It's not streamlined out here, so whatever the department
Yeah.
has, you do. Like they had me push a fucking Silverado for part of
Okay.
the test.
Really?
I'm like,
Okay.
why am I gonna push a car, dude? You know what I mean? Like I'm not
They
gonna.
had you be the world's strongest man competition.
Yeah, I was like, I thought we're gonna fight crime, not be basically AAA with a gun. So
Yeah,
I was like,
right.
all right, whatever. It gassed you out though. But then after you pass those two tests, then the next thing would be like background, making sure that all your stuff is legit,
Yeah.
and then once you get hired on, then like, okay, cool, you're hired on. We're gonna basically get sponsored for the police academy. Again, I don't know how true that is or how close it is up in Illinois, but out here you have to be
Yeah.
you have to have a police agency backing you to go to the academy. I know, like for like certain um college degrees you can get in for certain things, but I just know that majority you have to have a department to send you.
Okay. Okay. So the police academy isn't first.
No, no, no. That's the last thing they do.
Okay, that's new. See, I thought it was kind of like the Marine Corps. You go to boot camp first, then everything else.
Yeah, well, because think about it, because like they have to basically because the federal government has money to go recruit people. All right, but here
Right.
this is a local budget. Are they going to waste thousands of dollars
That
to
makes
send
sense.
you, and
That
then
makes
you know what I
sense.
mean, then you drop out.
Hmm.
Which has happened. Where this dude, I got so mad, dude. This guy, he goes through the process. He makes it through police academy, um, and then quits like a couple weeks later. Like, why? Why would you
Four.
do that? I don't even know. No idea. No idea. I think it's like I couldn't even tell you, but like because like obviously once you pass the police academy, you are now a certified cop. You know what I mean? You're a
Right.
certified bad boy. You could do your cop stuff. Why would you quit? You made it. You made it to the hardest part, actually.
Maybe he didn't think he'd make it, and then once he made it, like the reality hit him. Because I know there's some people like that too. That they're like, "Oh, I don't even think I'll make it, but I just want to go so that if I flunk, I know that I tried." And he didn't think he'd get that far.
That's called wasting people's times, man.
That is, yeah,
Which I mean, like, and they tell you because I remember when I went through the academy, they tell you like the first like 2 weeks, saying like this is the scope of it, right? This isn't
yeah,
like fraternity. This isn't some office job. Like you're gonna be dealing with a lot of stuff. So if you can't handle it, just quit now. No shame, no foul. It's okay.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Because there's some people who think they should be cops. They should not be cops. You know what I mean?
That's true.
So
Yeah,
um, it's like I said, you get kind of with the Marine Corps, you get all walks of life passing through. All right, so
What has been some of the craziest experiences you've had as a cop, if
oh
you can
man,
talk about?
yeah, no, I mean, because I've only been in for 3 years, so nothing crazy. I think the crazy like what you would call the most craziest is so there's this known house in the town that I work in that uh they're known for domestics. Okay,
Yeah.
and she had two phases. The first phase, the first boyfriend, crazy, broke in our house, caused issues. He ended up getting arrested. Second phase, second boyfriend, same deal, but he was violent. He was a violent man. He actually was on an ankle monitor from Metro Nashville because he was under investigation or like waiting for court for a murder, something crazy like that. Okay, so this wasn't
Okay.
a good dude. The first time we dealt with him, they fumbled over a gun near McDonald's. They ran up or he ran up the road, so we weren't sure if he had a gun or not. But me and my partner chased him down. We ended up tasing him, got him, then easy day. Apparently he gets out, which again, like you're on an ankle monitor. How are you getting out or jail? You know what I mean? Which blew my mind. And then he goes. They get into another domestic, but this time, what dispatch is saying is that he's going out. All if the cops come, I'm gonna shoot them. I'll shoot you. This crazy stuff. And obviously,
Yeah.
we know that they fight over guns. He's not supposed to have a gun, but there's a gun in the home. So I'm like, okay, great. So I was the first one on scene. I hear them arguing. Uh, I kicked in the door. Right, it was like probably one of the few coolest things I thought. I kicked in the door. Um, and then that's where I see him grabbing her, having a firearm, pointing at her. I'm like, oh man, that's a hostage situation, dude. I was like,
Yeah.
man. Well, anyway, they're still struggling, so they fall on the floor. So I'm like, okay, cool. Actually, there's a moment. So we're getting in, and I'm pushing the gun like down. I can feel it. It's pointed downwards somewhere. It
Yeah.
goes off. It's hitting somebody. Um, Point my gun at him, and at that point, I had to come to a conclusion. It took me a few months, right? 'Cause I didn't know if was I did I make a tactful decision not to fire, or was I scared, right? It took me a few months to come to the conclusion where they're both of their heads are like kind of like right here, right? So I'm like, dude, and then they're moving around. If I fire and I hit her, it's gonna be a bad day. All right, so that's where I was like, okay, probably not best to fire. And there was a point where I was able to kind of get squeezing my gun, and my barrel was touching his chest. I did try firing, but because his body pushed against the slide,
It took it out
and
of battery.
I took out
Yeah.
of battery. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'm not supposed to kill this man, right? Maybe I'm not supposed to kill you. Partner came in, he got control of the gun, punched dude, which kind of disoriented him. I was able to. I'm like, all right, cool. Maybe we can actually do this without killing a man. So that's when dude, I'm talking, the cops is dogpiling it, dude. I don't know. All I see is blue and then him. Um, but I was able, mind you, I can't holster because again, we're all on the floor. So I was able to orient my firearm up, take out my taser, and we just start tasing buddy. You know what I mean? It's the easiest thing to do at that
Yeah.
point. And then we get him, we get him cuffed up. So, um, again, it was one of those things where like I look back in that day because I'm like, should I have fired? Should I have waited? Was that a good decision? About making excuses as to why? I just remember, hey, you got two bodies, mostly victims. Because like I mean, we train when we do our firearms call, like we train for hostage shots, but they're not moving. They're not moving hostage shots. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
It's different in real life.
And it wasn't straight up a hostage situation because they're still fighting. So too much movement. And I don't want to shoot the wrong person. You're liable for that round. So at the end of the day, yeah, good guys won. No one got hurt. Bad guy went to jail. But it took me a long time to come to peace with the decisions I made.
How did the Did you have a conversation, or did anybody? I imagine there was like a report you had to fill out. Did anybody ask you any questions about it?
Yeah. Body cam got reviewed. I mean, so it's kind of funny. So, um, the sergeant that was working that night, we don't get along, right?
Okay.
And we got into a straight up argument on scene because he was saying that, oh, you should have waited for backup. I was like, no, exigent circumstances. We can't wait for he's the type to wait for backup, right? And I'm like, no,
Mm,
see, like we're supposed to be the good guys. We
yeah.
gotta get through that door. That's what I did. Um, so we had an argument on scene, and they were trying to write me up, put me in let's call it IA, or they were trying to NJP my ass, man. So uh, but it went under review, and even the people who are responsible for reviewing it even said, what are we doing with this, right? Like, what fault did he do? Because you have to list it if you want him to get in trouble. What policy or law did he violate? They couldn't find anything. So I got a little mad that they were trying to do something about it, but I ended up being cleared of everything.
Um. So I think that morally, would you have been able to not act and waited for backup? Just you morally, forget everything else,
No, no.
right?
So it comes with that mindset, right? With being a Marine, being a cop, or like you sign up because no one is forcing you to do these jobs, right? But you sign up to say, hey, like you are there to protect people, protect their property, right? Like this is your role that you chose to do.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be the good guys, right? Good guys don't wait around. You have to act. You make a decision because the worst decision is no decision. So
Peace, peace. I think like internal peace is what it comes down to. Like even if you said like, could I have done it better? Yeah, of course, anybody could have done it better. Hindsight's 2020, right?
oh yeah,
Uh, but did you make the right moral decision? That's the. I think that for me, right? I would look at it and ask myself, did I do what I morally was felt obligated to do, and did I do it right? Is another question, right? Did I do it the best way I could have done it? That's a different question, and I don't think that there's ever going to be the answer of like, yeah, I did it perfectly. I don't think so. Not in the moment, not in those interactions. But did I do the thing that morally I felt called to do?
yeah, and with that call specifically, you know, I it took me a while, but I felt good about it. You know what I mean? Like the outcome was what we wanted. We got in the house. We didn't have to kill somebody. You know what I mean? Would we be justified? Yeah, I've been justified, but that's not what we're here to do. And like I said, like I had to be comfortable with the decision I made because again, like, was it tactful? Was it cowardice? Was I like, hey, like, do I want to just shoot this guy? You know what I mean? You
But
kind
you
of
don't
have
want
to
to kill
figure out.
people.
No.
You don't
And
want to
that's
kill
why
people.
no, and that is not that's not the goal. And it's just one of those things where I just want to make sure that like I wasn't scared. You know what I mean? That that
And
that,
even
that, that no
but
no
even
go
if
ahead
you
go ahead.
were, but even if you were, uh, I think that is a human. That's a human thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Being. I remember just 2 weeks ago we go to dude, these domestics, man, they're crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I love them, but they're crazy. It was 2 weeks ago. We had to go to a active domestic. Son was beating on my mom. Again, first officer to arrive, and my concern was that it was quiet. You know what I mean? So I see a car with the door open, clear that area. Okay, I don't hear anything. Go to the front door. Mom comes out. I'm like, okay, you're the caller. You're a supposed victim. Where's he at? What's his name? Oh, in the back rooms. His name is so and so. Okay. Well, I'm not gonna enter the. I'm by myself at this point. I'm still waiting for backup. But they're no longer fighting, which is the goal. So I say I call him out. He walks towards me, and he's calm. I'm talking like he was just easy going. Um, all right, hey man. Did you? He's a known schizophrenic. He's a known
Yeah.
schizophrenic. Doesn't take his medication. and I guess was huffing glue that night too. So his mind's disoriented. So I'm like, hey man, did you hit her? He's like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, I hit her, you know. And I'm like, oh no, like you're
Yeah.
going to jail, buddy. You know what I mean? So I was like, all right, well, like, he had like a bag in his hand. I don't know what the hell he had in his hand. So I'm like, hey man, like, at this point, you gotta turn around, man. We gotta figure this out. And I'm talking like his face went from like just kind of neutral, stance to like, dude, I'm talking, it was a switch that flipped. And this is where I messed up because my hand was on my taser. We're probably about 2 to 3 feet apart. Probably not the good
Yeah.
position to be in. So he was able to clock me. So he got me in the face. Bam. So now I'm disoriented. And I'm like, damn. My first thought was like, this guy hit me. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's
Yeah.
probably most people run from the cops. He was like, I'm gonna
Right.
fight the cops. And that scared me. That was probably the most like, oh no moment I had. I was like, oh, he wants to fight. And normally in the academy and policies they teach you, soft hands, joint manipulations,
Right.
dude, no, we were brawling. I'm talking, I was throwing punches and knees, dude, because by myself, don't know what he has, and he wants to fight, right?
Right.
So, get him down, I win, cops win, we gotta win. Uh, Mind you, I timed it. I watched the video.
Right.
It was 2 minutes from me entering the home, fighting Buddy, handcuffing him, bringing him outside. It was all 2 minutes. I'm gassed. I'm trying to get in the radio. I couldn't. Um, it was a crazy fight, man. But like like stuff like that just kind of happens. So, um, yeah, man. These some of these calls, like you get scared.
And
That's
and
scary.
uh, and I think like not just in the Marine Corps, I think in general, uh whether you're police or any job that it requires you to a high stress job, right?
Mhm.
High stress job. We don't do a good enough job of saying that it is okay to be afraid. Do, you can be afraid, but do it afraid if you're going to do it, right?
Mhm.
The idea that you have to go into these situations and it's like, yeah, you if you have any bit of fear, like, yeah, you're a coward or any of that. I think it's a complete opposite, man. I think that it's that you did it scared. That is the courageous part. That you didn't you were scared, but you still acted. And whether or not you made every right decision you could have made, I mean, it's just not. I don't think it's possible. Not in the moment. Not even if you planned it. Because even if you plan things, right? They always say everybody has a plan until you get punched in the face, right?
Yep.
And in your scenario, that was the exact thing that happened. You have all this training, you have all this stuff, but then there are things that are going to happen that you just cannot plan for because that's the nature of that job. Any high stress job is going to have that unpredictability, and it's going to scare you. And I think that being scared is okay. And I think that if we shame that less, and we in fact say, hey, we empower people that, hey, you did it afraid, and that's the part that is courageous. That I think that's what is worth talking about rather than focusing on like, yeah, you can't be scared, like if you're going to be scared this isn't for you type thing. I don't think that's true. I think most people are scared.
Oh yeah, and that's why, like, especially with the new cats that come on board, it's more like tell them like give this situation the respect it deserves, right? Because I mean that vest and that gun can only protect you for so long, right? Like you gotta know you have to have the right. It all comes down to mindset. You have to have the right mindset because I've never been the one to be like, oh, you can't be scared, but like, hey man, like you gotta go forward once you're scared. You know what I mean? I forgot to say this was in the Marines that I learned, but like, or like there's so many people on the battlefield and only so many people should be there. You know what I'm talking about? I
Yeah.
forgot that part. That is one of those things I'll probably text you later about. But like,
Yeah.
there's people that like should not be there, and there's certain people who are able to kind of push forward, type thing. And it's the same thing in the police world, where like some people should not be there, right?
Yeah.
Because you don't have that thing to continue on.
And it's not necessarily either, like I think shame, like the shaming part is the part that kills me, is if it's not for them, it's not for them. but something else is. And I think that that part too is worth mentioning, that some jobs are not for some people. Like those type of jobs, right? If you freeze when you're afraid, maybe it's not for you, man. Like I think that that's something that is for people who, when they're scared, they have to act. Like that's just like a thing they're built to do. And I think in your case, that's why, like, I when I think about you being a police officer and why a lot of Marines are police officers, is because that gets trained into you, or it's something that you grew up already having, and the Marine Corps strengthened that. The acting, like if I don't act, I won't be able to live with myself. Like that's how I feel about situations where
Yeah,
I am more afraid of not acting than I am of acting and doing the wrong thing. Like that's the I think the thing that sets you apart, whether you that type of job is for you or not, is if when that happens, your response is, if I don't do something, no one will, type thing, and I can't live with that. Like that is, I think, what drives people to do those kinds of jobs.
I think the one of the like I think like the number one thing that I can say that the Marines taught me was earning your spot, right? Because that's how we became Marines. Right? You earn that EGA, you earn the right to be there. And I've always loved that concept. You know what I mean? Because like you put in the work and you are recognized. Hey, you are now part of us.
Yeah.
So um, that's the same way I use that same concept when I go to work. Every day, I need to earn my badge. I need to earn the right to say, hey, you know what? I'm out here. I'm a peace officer, right? I have
Yeah.
to earn it because obviously, I mean, because nowadays, you have the whole, ain't no way, not many people are following cops, but like you are, people are trusting you to do your job right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the Marines, you don't do your job, people die. Out here, yeah, they don't. Same concept, but they're entrusting you with, hey, you're here to do a job, right? And
They're
so
entrusting you with the safety of the community. I think that's a big
there, that's
responsibility.
perfect. That's perfect way of saying it. So that's why that's a concept I use to make sure that like I'm staying in lines, right? Because I think also too like because I tell people this, I think military members are more aware of they know, military members know how to stay their lane, right? You're kind of taught that you're taught structure, discipline, stay in your lane, right? Like you have a job to do. This is what you got to do. Go do it, right?
Yeah.
So I try to use that. Same thing with the civilian world, with the policing world. Making sure that I'm staying my lane and helping others maintain their lane as well. If that makes sense.
Yeah, man. And let me ask you, what is your plan for the future? What are some future goals you have that you want to accomplish, let's say, in the next 5 years?
Um, see, I don't know, man. I don't know because do I stay with this agency? 'Cause obviously I want to build something with them, right?
Yeah.
At least 4 or 5 years, because at least that gives a strong foundation. Um, I know there's some guys that I respect. Like they are like old school. They're old school GWAT veterans, like
Yeah.
OIF, OAF vets, a lot of combat vets. So I love talking to those guys. There's one who's going to the federal side of policing, and they did talk about it, and like obviously if I'm gonna stay in this world, where do I want to go to? Right? Do I want to go to the federal side, um, or maybe go to a bigger agency? I'm not gonna lie, I have no idea. I have zero clue. But I know that I want to keep advancing though, like keep learning, keep training. I know that I want to try to get become an FTO soon. I want to try that. There's other opportunities that kind of floating around, so we'll see if I will be able to pick up certain things like that.
FTO,
Um,
is that a field training officer?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So you want to train new police officers.
yeah, because they are piss me off now. You know what I mean? I'm like, so, but I've always had this thing where like, well, if I'm gonna complain about it, I have to do something about it too. You know what I mean?
Fair.
It's a give and take. So I've been complaining about it for a while. I'm like, you know what? I gotta put I gotta put my money where my mouth is and be like, all right, well, at least let me try, you know. And if I can't do it, then I know that hey, you know what, it's far gone. So, uh,
If
but
I can't save them, nobody can.
yeah, or mostly like well, maybe it is just as hard, and they're just as slow. You know what I mean? Or maybe I'm
Yeah.
just bad at it. We'll see. But yeah, these guys are just goodness gracious.
What's the biggest challenge you see for them? What are they struggling with?
Um, I'm trying to think of it as a whole. Probably from one command presence, right? Like you show up, okay, hey, like commanding the scene. And no matter what, a traffic stop is a scene, a domestic and a murder is a scene. You know, you're commanding this specific area.
Yep.
What are you doing, right? Um, and acting appropriately. So like, for example, right? Like if I'm showing up and there's people arguing, I'll let them argue for 2 seconds, just kind of figure out what are they arguing about. But then raise your voice, get them back low. You know, like command what's going on. And some of these guys, I don't know if it's, I think for sure it's nervousness, right?
Yeah.
Raising your voice at people, because when you raise your voice at people, there's a chance of them raising their voice at you. Um, and then being having that clarity during stressful situations. So like there's been times where I had a like there's a guy who's about to run into the unknown. I'm like, dude, wait, like hold on, we don't know what's upstairs. You don't know what's going on. Domestic and traffic stops are very very dangerous for cops. Okay.
Right.
So like let's wait. Let's hold on. I'm not saying let's not go up there, but like don't go up by there yourself, dude. Like, come back,
Yeah.
come here. Um, it's like chickens with their heads off. Man. They just want to run around too much. Like, you guys have to learn how to walk, not run. Figure it out.
So is okay. So it sounds like the issues they're having is confidence. So they're not confident in themselves that they can handle those scenes. And then another thing is there's a lack of planning. They're more impulsive. Is that right?
Impulsive. But again, it's just more like when. Here's the thing: when during high stressful situation, you're cognitive. Is that what I say? You're cognitive.
Cognitive.
Your
Yep.
mind, your mind starts going. I'm the same exact way sometimes, right? But that's why you try to have clarity. You can have clarity no matter what situation, right? Um, but like for example, like officer gets in foot pursuit, saying, or we're like, where are you? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But during that time, your mind is, you're running, you're trying to eye the subject, and at the same time, you should be trying to say, hey, this is where I'm going. You know,
Right.
we just had that last night. I'm like, dude, where are you? I'm screaming. I'm also, I park somewhere. I'm just screaming like, what's that song? Where are you? I'm like, where are you? You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing, dude?
Yeah.
Um, which again, and the things I talk about, I've also have done the same exact things. I have said some crazy, not crazy things on radio, but things that didn't make sense on the radio, which is unfortunate because I'm a radio operator. I touched radio like 2 years. So, but you know what I mean? Like you're supposed to, clear, concise, confident. Uh, I've done the same exact things. Okay, so the things I talk about, I also done it too. But like the same thing with like last night. There was they get called out. There was a fight between two people, and they got them separated. And the officer's like, "All right, well they said they weren't related, and at the cool now we're just gonna let them go." I'm like, no, I mean at least I did. I'm like they could be lying, right? Like
Yeah.
we're in the business of people lying. Like people know in down here, if you get in a fight with family members, someone needs to go to jail. That's
Yeah.
that's the law. So I'm like, like stuff like that. It's just always like it's more. How about this? It's more just goofy things that happen, right?
Right.
Just goofy things that happen. And again, they're great guys, but sometimes I'm like, what are we doing? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, and that's youth and inexperience, and also there's just maybe some of those guys haven't been in high stressful jobs before too. Something to think about. Even if you were in the military, some jobs are not high stress. Um, Especially like not to say that other branches don't have stressful uh jobs, stressful requirements just to step into the door, but there are branches that are less stressful than others. And I would imagine that if somebody comes from a unit that was not combat related, that could be less stressful. Like being a police officer could be more stressful than that job was. You know?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's kind of crazy to see, right? Because like especially like when I'm out there and I'm watching some of the guys who are like the experienced ones. You know what I mean? The ones that
Right.
like they're a cop, but I'm like, man, like, they are cool under pressure. They are just. I'm like, man,
Right.
like, I'm over here running around. You know what I mean? And these guys are just, it's the bee's knees, man.
Yeah, yeah. There's levels to it, but that's the
Yeah,
cool part when you get to if that's what you want to do, is you get to teach your mistakes to people and go, hey, this is how you want to avoid that, and hopefully breathe that out of them with the new training that you hopefully have a chance to uh, run. But I hope that that's something you do because you're always looking to learn, like you mentioned, something new, and you want to stay a police officer as far as you had mentioned. So that seems like the next logical step, and sometimes that's all you need. You don't need to know the path all the way there, but just this is something I want to keep doing, and that's good enough, right? So that's I'm glad that that's what you have in mind. I think that you'd be a great instructor for something like that. So I hope that that works out for you, man.
yeah. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, I do gotta ask them, man. So like, when are you popping out a kid?
I don't think anytime soon, man. It's a funny thing. It's a scenario like we were talking about. This is why I said to you, like, I think that um it's one of the things I wonder, and where you said like, oh yeah, we weren't planning it. It's one of those things where it almost feels like yeah, I would plan it if I was in a relationship in which I felt like a person that I was with would be somebody that is reliable and somebody that is a good teammate. But like unless it's on accident, which I would hopefully try to at this point in my life know to avoid, or at least do what I can to avoid. Um, I don't think anytime soon. I think that I think that right now I'm super focused on building my life, building my career, building something that if I ever did want to have a kid, I have something that I have like something to offer, right? Like a home, a comfortable enough life in which they can learn what they need to learn and not have to go through what I went through. Because like I also grew up without my dad, and that was super impactful to me and did a lot of damage not having my dad. So I think about that stuff. If I'm going to have a kid, I really need to be serious about the intentional that I want to have a child, that I'm ready for it, and that also the partner that I'm having that child with is reliable. That I can rely on them to help me out, and we can communicate well enough that we can say, "Hey, it's your shift, or whatever."
Yeah.
And so not anytime soon is the long story short. My focus is on building something first to offer.
No, I get that because I mean it. The way it happened was probably the best outcome. Because I mean, like we both had stable incomes. Dude, I have health insurance. I'm an adult
Yeah,
now, right? I was surprised. I was like, man, cool. Uh, Health insurance. We was a lot more stability, right?
yeah,
Well, I obviously weren't planning on it, but we were in a place where it wasn't it wasn't the worst thing in the world, right?
right.
So no, I trust me, I get it because I know some people were like similar situation, accident, dude, majority of us are accidents, all right? Let's just be real. The majority of us are accidents, you know what I mean? A little bit too much tequila, I get it. Um,
Right.
but like I've known people same scenario, but they hate their lives. You know what I mean? Um, so it just
Yeah, that's what it comes down to for me is just that I just don't I'm not the thing is I'm not even focusing on being in a relationship. I've been out of a relationship 3+ years now, and
Mm.
I've been focusing on working on my stuff, like the stuff that caused those relationships to fail. Because at some point, you have to take accountability. Like, what part? Okay, so you keep running in. At least it's you keep attracting certain type of partners that end up in whatever, like relationships that don't work out. So it's like, what at what point am I going to look internally and go, what could I have done better, and why do I keep, well, even if I say, oh, it was mostly the other person's fault, which is not usually the case. Even if I were to say that and it were true, okay, but then at some point I found them attractive. And so why did I find them attractive? Why did I put my time and effort into that relationship? And why did I convince myself that was viable? That was like, that's the stuff I'm working on now. And so for me to run into another relationship where I still feel like there's that element present would be kind of irresponsible. Like,
No,
that's
no,
what it comes down to, man.
no. That's actually you're doing it the smart way, like the actual logical way, because I mean, so like I had three major relationships, right?
Hmm.
The first one, I pretty much destroyed it, right? I pretty much just destroyed it. The second one, it wasn't terrible, but it just she was a great person, but she had issues, and I just had issues, and it just got to a point where I was not going to deal with it, right?
Hmm.
When when it came to the third one, right, I didn't I didn't really have a lot of time to sit down and be like, hey, like what are my issues? What can I work on and be a better partner, right? Because
Yeah.
I'm doing that now, and I have a whole wife and kid, so it's
Yeah.
like you kind of putting a little bit more overtime to be like, okay, hey, like what? Not so much what are you doing, but like, okay, like how do I actually fix this while also trying to run a family, right? So, trust me, it hasn't been peachy, and I'm actually glad that you're kind of sitting there going, hey, you know what, like, what are the imperfections I can work on, right?
How can I be the partner that I want, that I am asking for? Like, I think that's another key part, is like, a lot of times we look out and go, hey, what can we, what can they offer me? But it's like, what do I have to offer?
Yeah.
I think that's if I'm going to ask for things, right, I have to be also, just puts just as much effort, at least, into what I can offer. And obviously, yeah, I know that there's a lot of things that I can offer. Yeah, like I believe I'm a good enough person to be a parent, and I think that I to find a partner that is loving. I think that that's all true, but I also think that there are unhealthy habits that I don't intend to do. I don't intend to hurt anybody, but that in the past I have and will continue to if I don't work on that stuff. And it's not as simple as like, I can, oh well, now I know that thing that I do, and so I'm just not going to do it anymore. And I think that it's a lot deeper and it's a lot more difficult than that, to just say I won't do that thing anymore. It's like you have to change your entire behavioral pattern that allowed you to get there. And that is the hard part, is like I have to basically unlearn that behavior and relearn a different one. And if you don't do that, I noticed, if like I don't learn a new thing to do, like let's say for example, you can cut a piece of meat. Let's say caveman. Let's go back in time. Let's say we're cavemen, and we have a stone that's not very sharp. The stone, even if it's dull, could probably still cut whatever meat you might be trying to bring home to your family to feed. But with but if you had a sharper one, right? If someone goes, "Hey, no, I have a sharper one," you can get it done faster and more clean, and bring more food home for your family faster, right? You would take that tool and do that. But if someone goes, "No, give me that," you're never going to get there fast enough, and they take the tool away and you don't replace it with anything, well, now you're in a worse situation. So like, my example for that is like, I want to, if I'm going to try to change things, I need a better tool, like not just getting rid of. I'm not going to use that tool anymore because it's dull. It's like, all right, well, what are you going to use? Well, I don't know, and that's worse. So
Yeah.
for me, it's like I have to get a different set of tools to for me to act differently in those situations.
No, I mean, I like how you said like that. I'm learning that behavior, right? Because I
Yep.
mean, I think, and that's why, like, like especially when I go out to these calls or meet these people, like I don't judge, right? Because obviously there's a reason you are to this point, regardless if it's your fault or not, right? But how do we fix that? And obviously, I'm in these people's lives for a couple hours at most, right? Depending on what we're doing. Uh, and obviously, it's one of those things like I can talk to you about it. I can try to help you out, but you have to you have to unlearn that stuff. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? Um, and there are some people who do make it out of those bad decisions. And just regardless whatever it is in life. But I mean, it it takes years to unlearn certain behaviors. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it takes like I'm like even for me, like there are certain things I'm trying to get over where I'm like why am I not over a certain thing, right? Or certain behaviors? Well, why I'm good, I'm stable, I'm more happy, but there's stuff that in that back of the head. You know what I mean? Like for example, like I dealt with a lot of lust. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like I don't get it. I'm cool. I'm happy. I used to cheat a lot. I'm like, you
But
know,
that's something that is something, by the way, that is like, it's not a thing about, oh, am I a bad person? It's just that, why do I need so much external validation? Like, that's really the question, right? Like, why do I feel like I need to be validated by so many people, or so many partners? Like, I
yeah,
think that's the question that's going to get you to the behavior that you're talking about. Like, and that's going to be difficult. And that's another thing. Like, we're really good, we, especially as Marines, we're super good at suppressing emotions. We're super good at suppressing difficult uh feelings. And I got really good at that. And so you have to unlearn that and learn how to uh, even get close to the real reason why you're doing that stuff. And it's not because you're this evil human, or you're this person that wants to hurt people, but hurt people, right? And that's the reason why. Is because there's something that makes you feel like you're not able to validate for yourself, like, that you're worthy of somebody being in your life, and that you're worthy of, that you can provide self love, for lack of a better word. And if you're not able to do that, you're going to look for it somewhere else. And even though you're like, you're with a partner you like, you're with a partner that you trust, and that you feel like it should be enough, that is, it's not that. It's just that there's internal turmoil for you. There's internal feelings that aren't being addressed. There's hurt that you want to be validated for, and you use uh, relationships to get that validation, and it will never be enough. And I guess that's the circle that a lot of
yeah.
times we go through.
It's it's funny because I speak with emotions, right? Because everyone knows that like men suppress it, and
Yeah,
like guys like us, like like we're not very emotional people,
yeah,
and it sucks too because like one of our key issues right now is that she wants more emotion out of me, right?
right.
And I was always confused. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, wait, I want you to be more vulnerable. I'm like what do you mean vulnerable, right? Because like it's not that I don't mind being weak with you, right? But I just don't know. I'm not saying I don't know how to show weakness. I'm just saying like I don't know like what is it that you need out of me, right? Because and that's also unfortunate because like I think I'm almost at a point like I'm emotionally stunted, right? Because
Yeah, yeah,
like we work high stress jobs or I'm not gonna lie, dude. Like the amount of the dead bodies I've seen or the crazy stuff I've seen, like, it doesn't
right.
really affect me, or maybe not. Maybe I'm pretty sure in 5 years I need therapy. But like something like right now, it's like it's normal for me. So coming home and it's like like she wants to, I guess, be more emotional with certain things, and I'm like, I I see where she's coming from, but it's like I'm still trying to process that or learn like how to be emotional. You know?
That's the key. You just said it. So you are so good at numbing that you don't even know how you feel about things. That was a problem for me. Was like, I didn't even know this was a real problem. Like, like, if you were to ask me normally, like, without me thinking about it, or really trying to feel anything, if you're saying like, my therapist for a long time told me like, oh, this is like the issue. Like this is why um, this is something that you're not accessing. And it's like, what are you talking about? I feel fine about it though. Like, I used to talk for a long time about like my parents' divorce didn't affect me. And because I had done such a good job of numbing it that I believed that I didn't really feel anything about it. And the truth was that I just numbed it really well. And what we're really good at is, especially as guys and military and all that, we're really good at complete numbing it, so blocking it so much that we don't have access to that emotion. So we couldn't even we when we say I don't feel anything, you're literally incapable of it. Like that's not you're not in some ways you're not lying. You're actually you're so good at suppressing it that you've completely blocked it to the point where if you were to ask, hey, does this bother you? You'd be like, no, and mean it because you've done such a good job of suppressing it. That's what you have to. So you have to literally deal with that. And I don't think that's something that I've been able to manage by myself. Therapy has been the only way I've been able to have access to it because there's somebody who's trained to gain access to that. And I don't have the ability to on my own access it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and like it's funny because like I thought about therapy for years. I mean, I have thought
Yeah.
about it, but I'm like it's always for me. I'm like, but like why? What am I gonna talk about? I can just handle it. I can just do it by myself. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I can just do it by myself. And I guess
Right.
you brought up the point where like they obviously know what to look for or figure out.
And it can be scary, by the way. I'll add that. Therapy doesn't, the experience, unfortunately, with therapy isn't even for everybody. And even though like people who enter it, majority enter it for the reasons of wanting to help others, there's such a thing as therapists that aren't compatible with you. And fortunately, I didn't have to deal with that too much. In couples counseling, I did. We had somebody that I talked about this with our last guests. The couples therapy route was really a rough experience. Like it was during COVID, and during COVID, every therapist was taken for the next 6 months at least, and that was the wait time we had for couples counseling, at least for licensed social workers. And so what we were left with was we had to deal with just whatever we could get. We're like, we'll just take anything, and we got somebody that was still getting their hours. So that's somebody that isn't as prepared as what we needed. And so I had a bad experience with that. And that might ruin somebody's experience with therapy where it's already difficult to reach for help. And so if you get matched with somebody that isn't that you don't mesh with, or that you just don't, they activate things in you, like maybe they do things that somebody who abused you used to do. That little stuff like that you won't know until you get there, and you don't know why you're uncomfortable, or there's just something that you don't connect with. That's where people have bad experiences, and that's what makes them say therapy doesn't work. But that's not necessarily the case. It's just that there are certain personality types. They're people at the end of the day. Therapists are people, and so they're going to have personality types that aren't for everybody. And also, if you get into therapy, I do recommend looking for somebody who's qualified in trauma therapy, because it's so deep. Based off of what you're telling me, you're a lot of the stuff is so pushed down that you cannot access it on your own. So if you tell the story of your childhood, you will tell it like a recording. Like you will press play, and you will just tell the story without any emotion whatsoever, and you're going to be missing a lot of what actually happened to you. So trauma therapy is really, really important if you're going to get into that stuff, to start digging at it. So that's my recommendation if you are going to go to therapy at some point.
Yeah, and I've always a lot of the stuff right, I'm doing for two reasons. One, I'm trying to get back into my faith, and then I'm trying to
Yeah.
obviously be a dad. All right, so I got to be healthy. Uh, and I'll tell you that actually I haven't told anybody this yet. But there are certain days where I come. It wouldn't even be like a bad day. I'll just park in the driveway and dude, I just start kind of just tearing up, man. You know what I mean? Like, um, and I'm like something's not right, and I don't know what it is, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
is it because I'm worried about certain things for the future? Or is it because I'm burnt out? I don't know what it is, right? But I'm sitting there and I'll drop a tear or two. I'm sitting there and like I won't go inside for like another 20, 30 minutes, which I feel like every guy does that. They get home, they kind
Yeah.
of sit in the
At some
driveway for a
point.
second. Uh, and so like I try to, but I'm trying to like, not self medicate. I'm trying to self like okay like self soothe. I'm okay. There's nothing wrong. There's certain things are stressful right now, but like why I should be okay. I should be in a better spot. You know what I mean? So like
Your nervous
why?
system is talking to you. I think like what's interesting actually what I learned is that we're so when we stuff our emotions down, it goes somewhere and our nervous system knows it. So like random breakdowns are common with that when you stuff. It has to go somewhere, and so your nervous system knows there's your nervous system will tell you something's wrong. And I had a recent thing where like stuff can activate it, and that's what your body will tell you something is not being dealt with, and it has to come out, and it'll come out randomly. And so if you don't address it, it's going to come out in the most random places because your nervous system can't hold it anymore. And so it makes sense that you're saying that randomly it just pops up. You're like, what's going on? Even like I don't even know where this is coming from. And that has been a thing that I had to deal with, was the compacting it, and random things would set it off. So yeah, man, it's that's a human thing. We just can't stuff it forever, you know.
Yeah, yeah, and it's also it's a learning curve, right? You're just trying to. There's like a lot of like I said, like there's a lot of new stuff that's happening, right? So how do I properly navigate it? Because you know what I mean. Like I'm used to not I like to self destruct, right? Like I used to do that a lot.
Mm,
Um, Drinking, sabotaging my own work life. Like you know what I mean. Like
yeah,
it was just easier to do. Um, and I've gotten better, and now I'm at a point where like okay, like what do I need to do so I don't do that, right? Because there's
yeah.
a lot more to lose now. So it's just it's crazy, man. It's just crazy.
I hope you know, and what you take away from this is that we talk about it in the military too, and I don't think we say it, but I don't think we really say it and have actually done it, right? Which is, it's okay to ask for help. And it doesn't mean that you're weak. I know I listened to your say that when you're asked to be vulnerable, that you call it weakness, but it's not that. It's the complete opposite, right? The willingness to dig, and it's something that I'm still working on because I'm not good at it either, right? It's just the when something comes up, when a feeling comes up, I'm able to uh, hope. I'm trying to work towards getting to when a feeling comes up, I don't suppress it immediately, because then I'm not able to because if you don't let that out, it will come out at some point. And that's your I'm sorry, your nervous system remembers, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's
So I hope you I hope at some point you do it, man. I would be um behind you 100% no matter what you do, but I'd like to see you do that.
yeah, yeah. And I think eventually I'm gonna I'll try to because 'cause I think especially as guys, we don't really realize like this was probably a traumatic event. We're not really
Yeah.
realizing it,
You're
right?
constantly going through that as a police officer, is traumatic events over and over again. Yeah.
And then that's the thing too is that we talk about it at work sometimes, and I'm like, but I'm okay. You know what I mean? Like I feel fine, but I think there
Right. You
is
think you're okay. Yes.
I think I'm okay.
You're right.
And I guess I don't realize like what I've seen or what I've done. Okay, well maybe I need to try to figure out, hey, like am I okay? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Am I good?
Yeah. Just starting with hey, why did that happen? That's it. Just the curiosity. I think curiosity will take you a long way in life, and a lot of times we lose that as adults. Is that childhood curiosity of like, why did that happen? Why did I react that way? I think those questions will take you a long way if you just keep asking them. So yeah, I hope that happens. I do have some final questions for you though that I ask every
Oh yeah,
guest.
yeah.
Um, I would want to know firstly, you mentioned in the future, like being a field training officer. That's something that, so we kind of covered that. But is there anything that with that you want to share with the audience that maybe you haven't said before that you would want to pass on, whether it's something you're doing, something you're working on, or just some words of wisdom you want to share?
Um, oh, I'm not a smart man.
No, come on, that's
I'm
not true.
barely a good man. No,
And
I don't.
barely.
You know what I mean? I don't know, cause like it's funny, cause like, when I go to these calls, you have to like give people pep talks all the time.
Hmm.
Um, but it's just one of those things where I'll say, like I said, the number one that's been helping me is just leaning into that faith.
Hmm.
There are certain things happen for a certain reason. Um, but again, I think it's just faith has really helped me pull through some things. Um, but in terms of words of wisdom or what I'm doing, actually, my wife's coming right now. Cause I'm police. I come inside. I'm gonna walk inside.
Okay.
But I'll keep talking. But in terms of words of wisdom or any of that stuff, no, man, I really don't. Okay. I thought you said. Um, I really wish I had something, man. I really do. I'm not like I
That's
said.
okay. No, that's okay, man. I just wanted to leave that window open for you. If you wanted to add anything that we hadn't talked about, it's fine to say no. Um, so then moving on to the next question I have. If have you discovered purpose? And if so, what is it? And if not, what do you think it might be?
If I discovered what?
Purpose.
Oh, I think so. Yeah. I mean, so right now I'm just walking the house and this little guy's already smiling at me. That's
Hmm.
definitely a purpose right now. But like we all have a role to play. You know what I mean? We're all here. Like no, anytime I interact with somebody or talk with anybody, that's not by chance. There's a reason, even if it's a small, good morning throughout the day. Um, that's why I generally try to be kind or non-judgmental because, dude, I mean, like I said, like people are people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I generally try to be like just a nice person. So like with being a father, being a cop, it's given me, um, it's challenged me spiritually, physically, and mentally. And and right now being a father, I mean that's my main purpose.
If you could speak to your childhood self, what would you say?
Oh, um, that I guess that's a good one. I don't know. Um, I know that I've always wanted to have someone to like, from a guy's perspective, right? To have
Hmm.
someone to kind of look up to. Um, because every father, every child needs a father, right? And being a young man, I had to look for it and I had to find certain traits I like, in other guys, right? Like so, like teachers or other mentors. Um, so I guess if I can say anything to my younger self is just instead of finding that or whatever, just be one. Just
Hmm.
be that. Be the person that comes through.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing, man. And for taking time, out of your day and out of your schedule, with having a family.
So,
Super grateful.
girl, pleasure talking. Because you know what I mean. It's been a while. I know we're all going to see each other shortly here soon.
Yeah.
But it's nice to catch up and talk about what we're both doing in life. You know what I mean? Because as you get older, a lot of things become more perspective.
Yeah, man. Responsibility changes. You're a dad now, so that's going to look different. for me, and like life is going to look differently for me, and it's going to look differently for you. But hopefully that's why I'm trying to do these events, is because no matter what, uh, if we can get together at least once a year and remember those friendships and keep building them and know that those are there when things get hard, because raising a family, I'm sure it's gonna be times where you're gonna need that support, man. And so that's just, hopefully I can build something that can help support you guys in your missions and vice versa, right? So hopefully that
Oh,
happens.
thanks. I think one of my favorite quotes is I forgot where it's from, but it's I'm a culmination of everyone that's around me, right? All the
Yeah,
experiences. So you know what I mean, like everyone from MWCS
right,
to now, you know what I mean. It's helped me shape to the person I was meant to be, right?
right.
And it's one of those things where I am blessed and very thankful for all that.
Uh, I'm super grateful for our friendship, man, and I hope that we still keep in contact regularly after this. And that's the hope. And so we'll have you back on. I'll make time again to check in on you guys, and you included. So we'll talk soon. And anything you need from me, you know I'm one call away. So let me know.
Same, brother. I appreciate you, man. I really do.
Take care. Have a good one, man.
Thank you.
Take care.